brown sugar, jaggery, honey, stevia, and now the latest, monk fruit. Before you fall for any sugar substitute thinking it's healthy, watch this video till the end. We will give you science-backed comparison of all sugar substitutes. What are the core ingredients? What is the health impact? And then our final verdict. But first, let's understand some basics on sugar. Now, if you thought any one kind of sugar was healthy, you are wrong. There is no healthy sugar. Honey and jaggery are still sugar. Your body treats them like sugar. FDA even counts syrups and honey as added sugar on their labels. Fructose as a sugar substitute isn't a free lunch, it's still sugar. In fact, WHO goes on to say in both adults and children, the intake of sugar should be reduced to less than 10% of the total energy intake. Meaning, WHO is not asking you to go off sugar. छोड़ने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Cancelling any food out of your system isn't wise. It's saying limit it. For health benefits, it's advised to in fact reduce sugar intake to below 5% of your total energy. What does this mean? This means roughly 25 grams of sugar in a day. That translates into 6 teaspoons. In fact, to quote them, they go on to say that nutritionally, people don't need any sugar in their diet at all. Having understood that, let's now get into what science has to say on sugar contenders. This is the Sugar Showdown. Number 1, table sugar. White sugar, brown sugar, pink sugar, they're all the same. They're made with 50% glucose, 50% fructose, bonded together actually. This means that excess intake raises your risk in terms of extra calories consumed. A major source of these are found in sugary drinks, in your desserts as well. Remember, WHO has capped free sugar to just about 50 grams a day, and that's also on the higher side. So the verdict here is minimize. It's not your sole driver of energy. Let's look at honey next. The core ingredient here is 80% carbohydrates, which means mostly fructose, glucose. 15 to 70% is water and tiny amounts of bioactives and antioxidants. But any antioxidant edge is negligible at real-world portions. Metabolically, it's sugar. The labeling is also counted as added sugar in your nutrition facts. Yes, it's flavorful, but not a healthier option at all. Let's look at another popular substitute, jaggery. The core ingredient here is unrefined non-centrifugal sugar from cane or palm. Predominantly, it's sucrose with very small amounts of minerals. The trace minerals don't offset the glycemic or caloric load and falls under free sugar to limit. Not a health upgrade over sugar at all. Next, let's look at options that are often termed under sugar-free, diet, zero-cal. Now, what does it have? The simple sugar in products is often appeared as high fructose corn syrup. It's called HFCS, commonly 42 or 55% still fructose. Doesn't prevent problems of excess sugar intake, liquid sugars, and strongly linked to overconsumption as well. The WHO guidelines targets all free sugars, not just sucrose. The verdict here is not advisable as a healthier replacement. Next, let's look at the very popular stevia. The core ingredient here is, of course, extracted from the leaves of the stevia plant. It contains the steviol glycosides, which are about 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. Virtually 0 calories per serving, doesn't raise blood sugar or insulin levels. It is not counted as sugar on FDA labels, but WHO still advises against it to manage weight or prevent diseases. The tricky detail here is that many stevia products on the market are not pure. They are blended with different other kinds of chemicals like dextrose, etc. So you've got to read the ingredient list very carefully. The verdict here is it is acceptable in small amounts, but don't use it as a license to over-sweeten your diet. And then it's the new kid on the block, monk fruit. The core ingredient here, again extracted from a fruit. It's 150 to 250 times sweeter than sugar, so only tiny amounts are used. Again, not counted as sugar, very low or no calories per serving used, doesn't add to sugar grams. But remember, even the WHO recommends not using non-sugar sweeteners to control your body weight or reduce the NCD risk. The tricky part here again remains that some of the labels blend it and they don't really tell you about it, so you've got to be careful of where you're sourcing your monk sugar from. In fact, the verdict here is it tastes even better than stevia. But again, it has to be used in moderation, not a magic bullet. So, which is the healthiest? Well, if you must add sweetness, then a tiny amount of pure monk fruit or stevia beats sugar, honey, jaggery, fructose at all levels. But don't rely on any sweetener, natural or artificial, to manage weight or protect against any disease. Even WHO explicitly advises against that strategy. The real win? Training your palate down and cutting total sweetness. Not just in your tea or coffee, but everything else you might even not realize you're having, which is sugar-loaded. From the harmless-looking cola at lunch to the mithai box getting passed around at work, sugar sneaks into our diets far more than we think. Sauces, packaged snacks, healthy drinks so-called, even breakfast cereal, they all add up to your sugar intake. And remember, sugar intake matters, even if you're not a diabetic. Our bodies, which work tirelessly for us, deserve better. So here's to the best drink your body actually needs. Just a glass of water. To good health and a sweeter life that isn't sugar-loaded.